absolute treat for you this week. I first found this hilarious man's videos when I saw him do the Bad Golfer post-round interview. I immediately followed him. I was like, this is one of the funniest things I've seen in my life. He has continued on, of course, kicking his son out of his golf room, saying, I got to put me first, which I think got you 1.5 million views, 2 million views.
That one doesn't have a million. I posted it. Well, we can talk about that. It's up there.
Anyways, we do have the man, the myth, the legend, Fat Chops. Nick, aka Fat Chops. Nick, how are you doing this very nice evening?
I'm good, fellas. Thank you so much. This is super cool. I love chopping it up. I was stoked when you emailed me. So thank you very much.
Absolutely, man. First question: has your son recovered yet from you kicking him out of the simulator room, saying that you have to put yourself first?
Yeah, it makes him want it more, when I take him on the course. Now I really want to instill that, right? Like, you got to earn practice time. You don't get it. You have all the resources you could ever want here to be good. But you're going to have to earn it. So he learned a hard lesson that night. Sometimes you got to go to bed without dinner to understand not to get over the top.
Totally get that part. And I kind of wanted to talk to you as well, because I know you and your son, like your son has gotten into it at more of a younger age. Were you the same way where you got into golf as a younger person? Did it come to you as an adult? How did you really get into the game that we all love?
Yeah, dude, I am in the realm of some of my friends and like some people, like some of you guys who've been golfing forever. Not long at all. I've started maybe 11 years ago now.
Okay.
That was it. I was born and raised in Chicago. Went to Marquette up here in Milwaukee, met my wife there. Rest is history. We moved up here. So how I got into golf is kind of funny. There's probably a video about it. There's probably a video about just about everything in my golfing life on TikTok now at some point. But I recently gotten married, moved up to Milwaukee. I had some friends from college, but a lot of them, you know how it goes, right? Like you kind of hang on to a few. All my friends and family were back in Chicago still. I was living in Milwaukee, just transferred up offices, all this stuff with my job. So I had a couple friends, nothing like super steady, right? And then didn't have any kids yet or anything. And one day, one of those friends who actually stayed up here from college, texted me and he's like, "Hey, you want to go golfing tomorrow?" And I laughed out loud. I even told my wife, I was like, "They asked me to go golfing. Like, can you even believe this? Me golfing?" And they had to beg me. It was, now when I think about it, it's crazy. It's embarrassing. They were like, "Dude, please, the spots, it's paid for." It was just this fun event. It's paid for. We had a guy drop out. You could use my clubs. Just please don't make it so difficult to have fun. Just please come golf with us. So I was like, all right, fine. And that was it, dude. Rest is history. I went out. I had the greatest time, and it was half and half. I just had fun, period. I was just hanging with my friends. It was a nice day. And then, you hit a few good shots, and everybody says, it was that was it. I wanted it. And I was calling my friend the next day. I was like, "Where do I buy golf clubs?" And he was like, "Holy cow, we got a long way to go." And I bought a box set from a pro shop at a course, King Eagle. So King Eagle, if you're out there, thank you. You got me going for $100. The bag, driver through putter.
Hell yeah.
And I just played those until the sickness took over, and then that was it. Now I'm completely obsessed.
So the golf bug didn't even bite you a little bit. This is full on Lyme disease. Tick is in there.
You feel hard.
Over.
Head over heels.
And we joke a lot. I have a very obsessive personality. So if I like something, I love something. It completely consumes me. That was music when I was younger. I was playing guitar. Completely obsessed. And my way, every time there's something that I like, I just really latch onto it. So everyone was kind of waiting for golf to fizzle out, like all those other things do. It was here to stay. I told my wife all the time, you're so lucky that the most expensive hobby was the one that stuck. It couldn't have been reading or, any other things that I kind of like. Yeah. No, but yeah, it just completely took over.
For sure. A lot worse things to be addicted to. But yeah, it is an expensive one, but that's too funny.
Yeah.
It's gotten us all.
I will say before, so Brian is here. Unfortunately, Timmy got called,
You're gonna
literally right before
Brian's here, unfortunately.
Yeah, he was at the fire station and he got called out to a scene, so he had to go. And so this is actually, you'll appreciate this, Nick. This is a Big East podcast right now, as a Villanova man myself.
That's right.
and
Providence Friars
Brian went
here.
to Providence.
Go Friars.
So how does it feel going to a school that besides Dwayne Wade? Whew, how's the and Jay Crowder? My apologies.
Jay
and
Crowder,
Jay Crowder,
the most traveled man.
Yeah, it's really cool to see Jay Crowder and we had Jimmy Butler towards the end of my tenure at Marquette too.
How could I forget?
And then he went and played.
I
right?
literally forgot
Come on
he
now.
and played.
You guys, Travis Diener, thanks. There's a lot of solid players, but what's funny about that Dwayne Wade thing is, I grew up like a football house. We watched the NFL, and I'm 37, so when I was little, the Bulls were tearing apart the NBA. So like, I didn't even appreciate what the Bulls were doing at that age. Like, it was just like, oh, the Bulls won a championship again, like awesome, and they rioted in the streets and flipping over cars. I was like, oh, sweet, all right, cool. We got like school tomorrow, so. And it was just, it flew over my head. So we liked the Bulls. It was all Bears all the time, all NFL in my house. So we didn't really watch like much of other stuff like that. So like, I wasn't really into college basketball. But when I was going to Marquette, it was right before. So my first year was 2004. So they had just gone to the Final Four. That was like the Dwayne Wade year where they made a run. And then I get to Marquette, and then they were just trash. Like, they had all this hype. It was like Dwayne Wade, Marquette, the Golden Eagles. Here we go. Like, all the fight song, the whole deal. And then I get there, and they were like, it was all right. And we got a little bit of Jimmy Butler. And so now it's like, man, I paid a lot of money. I'm still paying a lot of money to, like, I don't even have football games. Like, we would go to, Badger games. And I was like, man, it's like seeing like the one who got away, or like sometimes you see the girl, you're like, I could have this. This could all be mine. And I could be doing the jump around thing and like watching football. And it's like, no, I get no football. I get a bad basketball team and a bill.
Oh, save us. Damn Title IX. We lost our baseball team. We lost our football team. But we got hockey, and I guess basketball now is blossoming. But I do have to say, Milwaukee is one of the cleanest cities I've ever been to. I feel like
it's real
like,
nice.
Very nice. It's very underrated.
Chicago's biggest suburb. It's fantastic.
Right.
No, I do love. I was out there in 2016. I was out there for work, and then I made it a weekend because it was Summerfest, and I was like,
yes.
What did Milwaukee get so fun? I was like, I had never heard that. Being an East, me and Brian being East Coast elitists, like I had never even.
But it was only cheese and Paps over there.
Dude, I'm telling you. And even being from Chicago, like Chicago has a lot to offer and is really fun, and they do festivals and stuff. And I love Chicago still. Now I live in the suburbs, and now if I'm in a city, I'm so used to being in the suburbs now that now when I go back to the city, I'm just like, well, everybody, please shut up. Like, please shut up. Please stop. And I just can't. It just takes me a while. It was the reverse years ago. But Milwaukee has a ton of those festivals, dude. Like, I don't think people know about Milwaukee. It's easier to get to. Like, a lot of people in the north side of Chicago, they would rather come to Brewers games because it's just a nicer drive. There's like less traffic. But like, there's Summerfest, there's Italian Fest, Polish Fest. They have like different music festivals. Summer's a really good time in Milwaukee. I mean, as in most places where it's cold half the year, like summers are just awesome because they're fleeting. But Milwaukee's got a lot of cool festivals. And if you ever come up here again, let me know. And there's a lot of good golf in Wisconsin too.
I was gonna bring that up too, because I feel like we talked with I don't know if you know the Sapar golf guys at all, Nick,
a little bit.
We talked to them and their Minnesota guys, and literally all they say is like they're like, Minnesota doesn't get the respect it deserves because all we do is get compared to Michigan courses and Wisconsin courses, and we just don't have that. I think so for at least the Kohler stuff. Like, I think them having the Whistling Straits course, Irish course, everything like that. An hour away, you got Erin Hills. Now you got Sand Valley around there too. Like, how did you guys go from in Wisconsin? Not even I wouldn't say unknown, but just becoming kind of this golf mecca of the Midwest.
Dude, I don't know. I'm still new to this. So I came into Wisconsin and I was like, whoa, the golf is awesome here. Like, when I started golfing, I was starting to realize like how nice some of the golf courses are that aren't even like the really expensive ones. Like a lot of the ones I play are just, I don't know how to describe it. And I've been fortunate enough to travel a little bit in years past for work, as it sounds like you do. So I've gotten to golf, around, and
Mhm.
Like Florida golf is cool, but that grass is just different. Like if you're not used to that, it's different. A lot of those courses that I've played, like were in good condition, but it's just different. Even in California, incredible golf out there. But there's just something about, I don't know if it's the style of grass, like the way that they're able to cut it. I think it just looks real clean. Like that is maybe one of the nerdiest like golf turf talk things I've ever said, but like it just looks different. Like I don't know how to describe it, but there's a ton of good golf up here, dude. And I don't think people realize that. Michigan too, although I haven't played there yet.
Now, weather-wise, you have 4 seasons, right? Correct? Like snow and all that. I mean,
Like 2.
Yeah, we basically have 2, and then we have fake ones. So we have summer, and then we have like winter, and then fall, spring, where you think it's going to be nice, and then it's just actually cold again. And then we get like
middle finger
right?
to you. Yep.
And then all of a sudden it's 100 degrees, and you're like, oh, it's summer. And then you get like rain, which is supposed to be fall, but it's just rain.
So that's I mean, that's a tight window to make courses that nice. I mean,
that's why I built the simulator. I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't live here for the rest of my life. You get golfing 5 months out of the year or something. Like I can't do it.
And one of the best videos I think you put out is kind of breaking down the cost. So like obviously you were like, I went higher end on this stuff. You can go cheaper options here, but like really being able to show people like it is possible to do it. My biggest thing is, and I know you talked about it a little bit in the video, how did you convince your wife? Like, how did you convince your wife?
Yeah, you should write a book on that alone.
Like you would make millions of dollars on that book.
Man, so when it came time, like I always talked about it. I was like, I want a simulator one day. Like I want it, whatever. And we still have two young kids, 6 and 3. But even back then, like we had one kid, she was pregnant. I was like, I want a simulator. And she's like, okay, look, calm down, right? Like bun in the oven. We're not building a simulator right now. Like, all right, I got it. So then when it came time, we moved, we got a little bit of a bigger house, and it was part of the deal. My wife was a total G about it. So I was like, one of the rooms, I just want to be big enough to eventually put a simulator in. Like, I understand we're not doing it right now. We need that. So we were looking for a house with a 4th bedroom, found one. And I mean, she was helping me. She was holding the tape measure when we were going to see houses. She was on the other end of the tape measure. I'm like, all right, at least 9 feet, right? Short kings out here. We could make a golf simulator happen anywhere. So I was like, at least 9 feet, right? So we found one that worked, moved in, and I was like, all right, so that's simulator. And she was like, I'm pregnant, so not. Shut up about the simulator. I was like, all right. So I gave it some time, and then so we had 2 kids. We were kind of done having kids. We were a couple years in. Maybe the worst of it was over with, like the constant not sleeping and everything. We were able to save a little bit of money, but all that time I was kind of saving for it, right? I knew it was coming, just had to make it work. And then my wife is real active. She's an athlete. She coaches soccer. She's played soccer. So once we were done having kids, she like wanted to like start working out again and all that stuff. And we had like a little tiny room in our basement that she was working out in, and it just wasn't working. So I'm in sales. I don't know, if you guys are, but I just knew it. I was like, all right, well, what's in this for her, right? Like, what can we do? It's a win-win. And I literally made a PowerPoint and called her into the family room. I put it on the TV. I played the Shark Tank music. Dun, 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 dun. Came in, straightened my fake tie, and I was like, all right. And I put that PowerPoint up. It's on TikTok. I went through each slide. So I just literally broke down. I had some fun with it. Obviously, it was all jokes, but like, at the time COVID was real hot. So, one of the point, and my wife she works in healthcare. So it's like real close to mine for her. So I was like, all right, one of the number one things, right, is my risk of COVID in my home simulator, near zero. Like risk of COVID away at a simulator, very high. And I just broke down the cost because I was like, here's how much it costs. Here's everything. Here's what we can do. But then the kicker, the what's in it for me, is I literally in Microsoft Paint mocked up what the room would look like for golf simulator. And then the very next slide was that same thing, but with a whole workout set up for her in it. So like, this is where you can put all your stuff. This is where you can work out. We can put weights here. We can do that. So it is also, it is also the gym, right? I mean, honestly, she uses that room more than I do. She works out in there almost every morning. She gets more use out of that room than I do being golf, but that's the trick, man. Make it work for both of you, I would say, and figure it out and try to make her laugh.
Now, has she now purchased a set of $100 clubs and is trying it out in the simulator?
Her stance on golf. Has she
Dude,
like?
Yeah, she has clubs. They're like hand-me-down clubs. I put new grips on them for her. She wants to try. Like, we're already talking about maybe going. We have a weekend away, or a weekend trip, and we're thinking about taking some time. She wants to go golf. I was like, all right, she'll do it. You know what's going to happen though, and she's one of those. She's naturally athletic. She'll pick it up, and she'll get it. And then like I'm going to be legitimately worried. Be like, shit, she's going to be better at this. She's going to be better at this than I am pretty soon. So I got to be careful because she's just good at things like that. So we'll see what happens.
It's funny the way that is like my girlfriend just started golfing with the pandemic with like probably millions of Americans, but with that, I mean, she's athletic as well, picking it up. Her dad's a big golfer and such, and she's one of the fastest improving golfers that I've ever seen, and it cuts deep because I've plateaued, if not declined. I feel like she's just gonna pass me.
Man,
quickly.
I'm telling you, that I say that all the time. Like when because I practice a lot. Like I'm hitting golf balls a lot. There's a setup out here in my back patio. I have the simulator inside. Most days I work from home if I'm not out on the road or whatever. So like in between calls, I'm out here hitting balls. Like so people are like, man, you practice so much. I'm like, listen, I have to. I'm not naturally athletic. None of this comes to me. Like nothing feels natural. I have to practice or try like 10 times as hard to be half as good. So yeah, okay, I do hit a lot of golf balls. Leave me alone, because if I don't, I'll forget how to do it completely.
It's actually funny you say that about practicing. Is this morning I play 9 before 9 every a lot of the time. Just quick, I'll go out at like 6:30, 7. And this morning got there like an hour early for my 7 a.m. tee time. So I was out there eager, got my dunk in, got all that good stuff. And I was chipping around just like, because the green was still pretty dewy. So I didn't think putting was just gonna throw off my touch, if anything, because it was slowing everything down. So I was doing flop shots for pretty much an hour. And that was the worst part of my game the whole round. I was like, so I'm just not going to practice anymore, because I think I blew it. So never practice, kids. That's my advice.
Don't practice. Go out there, man. What are they
out there? Raw dog it. Yeah.
What's the old guy always say?
There, right?
What's the old guy phrase with that? You wasted them all on the range. You wasted all the good ones on the range.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah,
I remember.
Okay. Out here. I definitely did waste them all.
I forget who did the video of like, let me know like the best worst golf like little meme, almost memeisms, but like words. This is really sad that I'm 30 years old and I don't know what I'm saying, but I know what I'm saying. But it was like, oh, put your best like golf one-liners down there, and mine is always like, beats a day at the office, my dad every time we're playing golf, and he like the cart girl will come by, someone else will come by, just like, hey, beats a day at the office. I'm like, come on, Dad, stop it.
Yeah.
Man, I have a couple of buddies. We have a phrase that just kind of came to be. You ever see the Family Guy episode where they're golfing, and maybe it wasn't Family Guy, whatever. I'm an idiot. So anyway, and they're playing golf. He's playing horribly, and he's like, "We're having fun. This is fun." And he like, yells it.
That's Family Guy.
So that we're.
But you hit your ball in the water.
Because this is fun. We're having fun. And so we'll be out golfing, and if one of us is having like just playing horrendously, and you could tell that person's in a bad mood or whatever, the other one will just say like, "We're having fun. Like, this is fun. We're having fun."
Yeah.
And so we're paired up. We got paired up with another guy or two guys, I can't remember, and it was happening. My friend was having a terrible round, and we're just getting through. And I said it to him, joking. We say it all the time. He hit like a horrific shot, like an S word out of nowhere, and he was super frustrated. Throws his club in his bag, and I was like, "This is fun. We're having fun." And the guy that we're paired with was standing next to me, and he kind of tapped me like, like, "Hey, he's in a bad mood." I was like, "Oh no, this is my friend, and I'm gonna make fun of him right now. Just hang tight. This is the thing we do."
Yeah, we're not minding feelings right now. We want to piss him off even more. We want him here. Yeah.
Even the stranger was like, "Dude, I don't." He looks upset. Like, yeah, he is really upset.
He's mad.
You're golfing with like Mr. Rogers. That sounds like the nicest fella I've ever heard.
Right. Oh, dude, if you guys ever, I chipped it. This is shortly after I started golfing. I was like 3 years into it. I'm like just trying to break 100, and I chipped in from like 60 yards. It was me and a buddy and a guy that we were paired up, old guy. I mean, gray hair. He had to be in his 70s. And I chipped in, and this guy throws his hat off, throws his club, and he's like, yeah, he comes running down the hill and like gave me like a bear hug. And that's when I was like getting acclimated to the game. I was a few years in or whatever. And I was like, this is awesome. Everyone is so nice. I came home. I was like telling my wife about it. I'm like, I chipped in from like 60 yards. And this old guy, he threw his hat. She's running. She's like, that's great, honey. Let's go to sleep.
Yeah. You sounded
I can't
crazy.
stop thinking about it. Okay.
Yeah.
It was the greatest moment of my life. Okay.
Yeah. Except for the wedding day, honey. Of course. Yeah.
That was the best. I
It's
apologize.
a close second, though. It's a
Oh,
close
man.
second.
Yeah. That's
Dude. And then now here I am with club specs, and it's insane how crazily this game took over my life.
I definitely wanted to get into that because, like, for me at least, like, I am not like techie like at all with clubs. Like, I am very much, which is sad because like we're the younger generation, but I am very much the side of like, yeah, like whatever feels good, just hit that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have a buddy who got really techie who I've brought up on the show before. He was like I really want spike shoes, and like I really want like these blades, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, no, let's go spikeless. They're better for the course. And let's get you like game improvement irons real quick because like you're just getting back into golf. Like, let's do this. And you know, like one of the things
don't need a 60 degree, even though that's what I swear by. You don't need a 60 degree.
I do love my 60 degree. Shots. I've been hitting it so much.
I don't know how to bump it.
I love it.
I thought like 80 yards in, I'm 60 degree in it, no matter if I need to punch out. it's bad. I mean,
I can actually bump and run my 60 degree.
I can't Texas wedge it or anything.
Dang,
I love the Texas wedge. I love the Texas wedge.
Yes.
But anyways, so how, you know, with that side, Nick, like how did you kind of get into like looking into like the specs on this and like really getting into like attack angle, launch angle, and kind of understanding that side? Because I still don't think I'm there yet, and I don't even know if I'm ever gonna get there.
It was, well, I mean, like I said, that's my personality is just like all in or nothing. And I'm analytically minded, like to a fault, like absolutely to a fault. Like I overthink everything. I need to have everything fleshed out. And if somebody just handed me a club and said, "Air, hit this," I probably would be better off. But the other side of that, like for me, understanding the physics of golf just like actually helps me play the game of golf. Like I have such a hard time, and I'm not saying one is better than the other. Like I have such a hard time being like told like, hey, do these things and hit the ball, and then like being like, okay, and you know, not thinking about how it happens, like what makes the ball go. It's just that part of my brain kicks on, and I was like, well, what makes it spin? Like, how does that work? And then you're watching a TXG video, and then they start talking about other stuff and attack angle and how that affects spin and loft and how different center of gravity and different clubs. And then suddenly, you know, you fast forward 3 or 4 years, and it helps me, but I enjoy it. Like I enjoy learning that stuff. And it just kind of takes over. Like it's just that rabbit hole, that classic rabbit hole. Like this thing, okay, this is what makes the ball spin. Like how does that work? Like with deep plane, well, it's deep plane. And you learn about deep plane. You're like, well, what about this type of club? The same thing. And then it's game over. And then I enjoy that. It helps me a little bit. But I have a funny story kind of surrounding that, like me thinking I'm super smart. I could tell that one now. I think it's one a lot of people can relate to.
Go for it. Absolutely.
You do have a tough shoes to fill, because we did have Sarah D Club Fitter on.
I was about to say we might want to change the subject anyways, because
I know.
I have never in my life, and like I know like Sarah listens to us once in a while, so like if she's listening now, like I still think about that episode, Sarah. I still have no idea what you're saying. You said it so well.
I love that. Sarah's awesome. And I talk to her a lot too. Like I ask her questions about club fitting stuff, and she's super cool, super knowledgeable.
She's so good about it. She's awesome. Then we told Mike the next week when he came back on, we told him, we were just like, oh yeah, like dude, definitely do it like it's a, you know, like it's a
definitely ask for a lesson.
You're not there for a fitting, you're there for a lesson just to get
honestly want to extend an apology for us 4 idiots, just the whole podcast. She's like trying to spit out this good knowledge, and we're just like Look
What is
at
going
us.
on?
Yeah.
Dude, no, that was a really good. I like that episode a lot, but I love that stuff, like the TXG and all, like that type of video, like the athletic motion golf guys, athletic motion, whatever they are. Like, I love to see the why, like the why and the how of things. It helps me on the other side of it. And I know some people, like, like that Dustin Johnson, we're just like a see ball, hit ball.
Yeah.
I'm good. No big
Yeah,
deal.
and that works for him, but for
Yeah,
and
but
it's
you
awesome.
need that God-given
Short
talent
kings
to
not
be able to see the
necessarily
ball and then hit the
gifted.
ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You need
We
to
gotta work a
be able
little
to
harder.
see the ball, hit the ball 360 yards.
100 plus times out there. Yeah,
dude, it's unreal. So anyway, so I'm a total club freak, like all this stuff. You guys, anybody who has known me or followed me for any amount of time knows, like, I'm not the buy a set off the rack guy. Like, I could never do it.
You've
Yeah,
changed,
right?
Nick. You have changed.
We've changed
Right
11
before
years.
our eyes.
So I know I couldn't even imagine buying a box set now. That makes me shiver. But so I hit off mats a lot all winter. And so if you have any irons, you should probably bring them once a season to get spec checked and have at least your loft and lies adjusted to where they should be. Like, they'll bend over time. I don't know, maybe some people don't know that. Your clubs will bend over time, especially on mats. They get more and more upright. You miss further and further left. It's no good, especially for me. I will miss it left so far that it comes back around the right. But so I know my specs. Like, I know that my irons, I'm 2 degrees flat. I know that. So I wanted to, and I have purchased stuff from Club Champion before. So if you're like a customer of Club Champion, they give you a free loft and lie spec check, every season. You can bring them in, and for free, they'll bend everything to spec for you. So every season I go to Club Champion. Yeah, it's awesome, dude. And even if you
I haven't taken advantage of any. I got fitted there twice. I haven't taken advantage of any of their perks. I'm blowing it.
You might have to have bought a club from them. I don't know.
Yeah, I got fitted twice, but yeah, I got.
I don't know.
I think you have to be over like $1,000 or something spent on clubs with them, for at least for a free membership.
We could edit that out so my wife doesn't hear that part, right?
Yeah.
No, I paid.
That's euro.
I did not spend $1,000 at Club Champion.
That's Great British pounds, honey.
Yeah,
Divide it by 2.
Not USD.
I was specifically told there's a little bit of editing here.
It's
so anyway,
true dollars for Dwight Schrute.
Club Champion bucks. So I bring them there, and I wanted to make it easy on the guys. Like, so I'm smart. I know club stuff, right? Like, I'm awesome. I don't need any help. So I know the loft and lies of the irons that I have, the MP 18s. So 2 degrees flat, I write them all down, and the numbers I wish I had the paper. It's around the corner. I'd show you, but I had it all printed out. Each club, the loft, the lie that I wanted, not the manufacturer's loft and lie. I was like, this is the loft and lie that I need. Here you go. I'm super, super smart. I have everything that you need. Here it is. And they pick it up. They do it. It's awesome. And the clubs are great. Now my miss is left. I'm like, missing left. I'm having a hard time. Like, so far, I've only golfed like 5 times this season anyway, but like, I can miss left, but I'm missing left right now. Like, man, something's not right. Like, I'm missing left. Can't figure it out. So I'm looking at another set of irons, and I need to provide some specs that I want them. So I'm looking at it. I want, all right, what should my lie angles be on these new clubs or whatever, these new irons? So I did the math real quick. I'm like, all right, what are my manufactured lie angles now and then 2 degrees flat? And I'm doing the math. I'm like, all right, so the lie angle is 60 degrees. 2 degrees flat would be 62 degrees, right? Because we're getting closer to 180. So a higher number. So 2 degrees flat, 62. All right, 62. Yeah, 63 and a half to 2 degrees. Got it. And then it hit me. And I remembered the spec sheet that I gave to Club Champion. I'm an absolute moron. And I just subtracted 2 from each one of the lie angles. So I actually asked this guy to bend my lie angles 2 degrees upright.
No,
and I've been
playing
and I've been playing with them ever since. And I'm like, I know I can miss left. But like, man, I'm really missing left. And it's like, yeah, stupid. You're fitted for 2 degrees flat, and you have irons now that are 2 degrees upright. You moron. Like, I'm in the kitchen, like, cursing myself. My wife's like, what's going on? Like, you're not even going to believe how dumb I am. She's like, I could believe it, but what happened? And I'm explaining it to her, man. So now I got to go. I just fit like an hour ago. I came to that realization. I'm looking at the page. I was like, oh my God, I've been playing with 2 degrees upright and I'm doing all this stuff in my swing. Like, man, I'm really hitting it left this year. I don't know what's going on. So I'm sure that's not the only cause.
Maybe it's when I slept on my arm a little wrong the other night, and it's like maybe that's throwing me off. My back doesn't feel as good as it is.
And before and whoever is watching, before you jump down at me about this, I know that the 2 degrees is not the only reason I miss left. I understand. I'm just saying it certainly doesn't help when I'm fit for 2 degrees flat. No, but I couldn't believe it.
If we were a big account, which we're not, people would be jumping down your throat, but you don't have to worry about that.
I'm realizing it's getting a little dark. Can you guys see me okay?
Yeah, you're good, dude. No worries. Yeah, you're 100% good.
So before you said that like that's your backyard, but like leading up for like the first 15 minutes, I was like, is that a virtual background? Is that not a virtual background? I was like, it's so nice looking because your lighting's terrific and like it's still light out, but I know you're a couple hours behind us. And I was like, is this a virtual background? But I was like, there's no like glitches when you move. And I was like, I couldn't figure it out, but that's a pretty cool.
No, I'm on the back patio. Yeah, I have a little hitting mat out here and everything in a net. My old net just broke.
Where the magic happens.
Real RIP sad moment. My old net just broke. I put out another one, but because I'm a psycho and I have a backup net laying around.
Actually Brendan, Mike's brother Chris, I don't know if you remember, they didn't have a golf net, but he thought that setting up a tarp would be a good idea. And like first two strokes right through into the house.
Through it.
Yeah.
And they're loud. Because I did that too. I've done every mistake you can make trying to hit a golf ball indoors. I've done every single one of them. Yeah. And a tarp was one of them. A blanket was another one.
I was gonna say you're better with a blanket than a tarp at least, but
yeah. I hit a tarp and it didn't break at first. I like started slow, but it was loud. You hit a golf ball. You hit a golf ball into a tarp that's not quiet. Like everyone hears that.
Just the loudest slap. Yeah.
It's very loud. It's very loud.
That's hysterical. But no, I mean, Mike, who may or may not join us tonight. Probably not, but he just going through. He just got fitted for a whole bag at Club Champion this past weekend. And it was something that I told him, like, I think I mean, a bunch of people have probably convinced him into doing it, but I honestly, when I got fitted, because I got fitted for my irons first, and then I went back the year later and got fitted for my driver. And honestly, I swear by it now, because buying off the shelf, I mean, like, obviously if you're just starting off, you want to buy off the shelf because it's not going to make that big of a difference. But but now, like, because I'm obsessed with golf and it's what I do more than a lot of activities around, it's the difference between having like a fitted suit versus just like a suit off the rack, or like shoes 100%. That don't fit you correctly. If your shoes are too big, you're sloshing around all day. It's 100%. Like it really is, as opposed to trying to adapt to your golf clubs. Your golf clubs are adapting to you and your swing and doing that. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, obviously it can be very expensive, so not many people it can afford that. But if you do, I swear this is my PSA, and I think I said it. And I did the same exact thing when talking to Sarah. I brought out my Club Champion, like all my specs. I was like,
I love it,
because there's also like all this building terminology, as you're saying, like, club head speed and flex and kick point. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to keep up. I'm going through and
dude, fitters have to hate me. I've always worked with good fitters, and they've been super nice, but like I'm that dude in a fitting where I don't want to, like, I tell them up front, I'm like, listen, I understand all that stuff. Like it probably comes off as super arrogant, and I'm like, hey, listen, I'm sorry. Like, I am just like a common idiot. Like, I'm a common guy, but I do understand these things. I understand all those words on the screen up there. So like, don't waste any time explaining to me like what those mean. Yeah. Like, I was like, don't explain what those mean. Like, let's just get to it. Like, let's get started. I know what that means. Just, we'll talk about it. And they're always like, all right. And then shortly into the fitting, like, I'm asking them probably the most annoying questions, right? I'm always like, what do you think about? They're probably like, dude, what?
I didn't make it that far in the training. I was trying to impress you with what I have, but you already knew that. So now we've gotten to this point. I didn't make it this far in my training. Now, right? You're like, now I'm embarrassed.
So, like, so what about the kick point on this one? It's like, it's the same, and that doesn't really matter for what we're talking about. So like, just please hit the ball. Go ahead. You're right.
Like, yeah, dude, you ruined my show. This is my show, and you ruined it.
Oh,
You
man.
totally.
I'd be the worst club fitter. Oh my god. How'd that feel? Okay. All right.
Cool.
Let's move on. Like,
Dude, I would love it. I think that would be so much fun. I would love that. That would be awesome. Just be a club to be able to do that.
Traveling club fitter.
Yeah.
Like not ones that are just in one spot, but you're going to new courses every day or going all over. That'd be sweet.
That would be so cool. Any club fitters out there, if you want to train me from the ground up, and give me a job, and also pay me a lot of money right away, let me know.
Yeah. Well,
you hear that?
You can work it out in the contract.
Those are the only three things.
Yeah.
He's very coachable. He's very
very coachable.
Yeah.
Eager to learn. Yeah.
He's a big advocate for not buying off the rack. You must get fitted. So there it is. He's already got it ingrained in his head.
And he knows what kick point means, which I don't know what kick point.
I know. I can't even find that on my terminology sheet. So there it is. The position on the shaft that exhibits the greatest amount of bending when the shaft is compressed at one or both ends. This reading is important because it helps determine ball trajectory. The lower the bend point, the higher the ball flight. Similarly, the higher the bend point, the lower the ball flight. So maybe every podcast I'm going to read one term off this terminology sheet, and everybody will learn something that day.
We got Brian's tidbits. We got Brian's
terminology.
You guys want to learn something about kick point right now?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So here's a perfect example of kick point and how it can interact, especially with a driver. Man, Sarah, if you're listening, just go easy on me. I'm gonna do my best here, but this is my
being like, what did he do?
We'll have to tag her.
Doing?
She's too big that we have to tag her to get her to watch.
Right?
Yeah.
So a good example of like maybe a misconception with kick point. So basically it's like, we're gonna really dumb this down. It's how bendy some point of the shaft is. Like if you think about the end of the shaft, the tip. So a lot of people think like stiff shaft, you need to swing fast. Extra stiff, you need to swing really fast, regular. It's not quite that simple. It's not all about speed. It's about how you load the club and how you hit the ball, right? Like what's your attack angle. So a great example, there's a sneak peek. I haven't finished editing all of the club champion footage yet for my fitting.
Inside scoop.
So a cool nugget that I wouldn't have thought, this was one of those moments where the club fitter was like, have a seat, dummy. Well, let me explain this to you. The shaft that I ended up getting fit into is basically like the stiffest profile for that family of shafts. Which surprised me because my driver swing speed, even if I'm super warmed up, is probably 101, right? Like it's not very fast. But my attack angle, so I hit the driver up. You know, some people hit level or down, which can be bad if you don't have a lot of speed. I hit the ball. Yeah, I do hit the driver up already like 4 degrees or so. So he was saying if you had a higher kick point, right? So it's really going to kick more. You're going to launch it even higher. So the way he explained it to me, he's like, you don't need launch and spin because you already provide that. Just by hitting up on the ball, you're adding launch, you're adding spin. He's like, so you need to really reduce some of it. So I had a stiffer shaft with a stiffer kick point, like a higher kick point. So it doesn't give any more, as little as possible, adding loft at the ball. So that surprised me a little bit. So I was like, wow, I really didn't think that this shaft would fit me. And he explained those things. Like, it's not all about speed or it's not all about all that stuff. It's how you deliver the club to the ball. So that was our golf nerd talk for the evening on kick point. Sarah, I'm sorry if that was all wrong. I don't think it was though.
Yeah. Oh, she's gonna be the one chirping you in the comments now.
Yeah.
Thank God
Will
we don't
let
do
me
it
know
live,
too.
am I right?
Yeah, Will would let me know. I'd get a text from him, hey dummy, you completely explained that backwards and now everyone knows you're stupid.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but that's job security for him. He's got to retrain them and reteach them. So you're out there helping him stay employed.
Yeah, he's a good dude. That was a weird, like, serendipitous thing that happened too. Like, we met each other via TikTok, me and Will. Just like seeing each other's videos, and I noticed something about Wisconsin or Illinois or whatever. And then we realized we live like 20 minutes from each other. And his course is like 20 minutes from me.
That's great.
Yeah.
Have you gone out and played with him?
Yeah, a few times. We went with our kids too. So his son is I think almost 3, and my son is 6.5, and we played 18 holes with him.
Wow.
Well, us and our son.
Isn't TikTok a weird thing? I mean, like, we wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for TikTok. I mean, it's like
very, very
golf.
true.
the golf TikTok community is an amazing thing. It's
really cool.
Yeah, and like
I've
you
gotten
get
that a lot.
Sorry,
Like,
you must get it all the time. Like we get it all the time too. If you're ever on this side of the country, hit me up. We'll go play around. Like it's like and like that's actually genuine. I feel like it's not an empty offer. I mean, it's just,
I mean, honestly, I've met a lot of cool people. I mean, God, I couldn't even name them all. Like Blake in Michigan, right? Be Heard Golf Dogs Loves Family. Jason, he's all over the place.
Jason's such a good dude, man. I talk to him all the time. He's always we got to get him on soon because I just want to know his putter knowledge is
it's awesome,
insane. That he knows that like this putter from Ping in 1966 is worth this much money because it was actually made in Scottsdale instead of Phoenix, but then this one was made in Mesa, so it's actually even more expensive. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, I don't even know. I couldn't even point where Mesa, Arizona is.
It's the most soothing voice too, where you just like feel like it's a bedtime story, just hearing about how the putters have been made.
Dude, and that's not for the app. That dude loves putters. I talk to him. I text with him more than a lot of my friends, but just about nothing we just chat about golf or whatever. And he'll send me like screenshots of a putter he's eyeballing on eBay or on like a new Betty release or where it was like, ooh, what do you think about this one? I'm like, dude, you're an animal.
How many does he have? Do you know?
I don't know. I mean, that'd be a great question for him. I'll have to ask him, but I mean, it's got to be north of 10. I'd be shocked if it was any less. His wife's a saint too, from what I understand. I won't speak about another man's family too much on here, but it seems like she's really cool about it too. Like, because he'll send me stuff like, "What do you think about this putter?" I was like, "I think I would never be able to do that. That's what I think. Like, that's a crazy. Most people wouldn't." He's like, "Yeah, works it out." But no,
that's another PowerPoint you'll have to put together in order to get into the putter.
Right. No, a lot of cool people. Like, I'm able to meet you guys like Black Sail, down the guys at Southern Birdie, like Chippotamus guys. I mean, I've talked to Mulligan, plus 3-putt a little bit. Like,
Chris is a great guy. He came on and he was hilarious. He was.
I loved that. I love that episode. I did the whole thing from a freaking Wawa part, dude. That killed me. He's like, I'm at Wawa right now. I'm like, dude, it's so on brand. I love it.
That was top 5 favorite moments of my life. It was just like, like the old man hugging you. Yeah, that was just like that. I was like, that was electric.
I think one of the cool parts too, and I think you do it as well, Nick, is like when we get like, so I think sometimes I go like, because we'll get like stupid comments all the time. Like I think I interact a little bit too much with it and I go back on people hard, but like that's just my personality. I think you're like much more funny about it. So like when you get like those comments where you're just like, how do you kind of like get in that mindset of like, okay, I need to calm down a little bit before I respond, and then I'm gonna make this guy 1 look like an idiot and 2 make it very funny.
I am like, dude, I'm 37. I wasted so many of my years in my 20s arguing with people on the internet, like just about whatever, about
keyboard warriors out there.
I'm, just like, I'm going to take some stance or I'm whatever. And it's just so dumb. So now I think they're hilarious. I mean, I don't know. We're not that far off. I'm sure you guys grew up heckling each other, giving your friends a hard time. Like, it doesn't, I don't care. Like, I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. Like, it's just, we joke all the time, like with my family or my wife, like I'm almost unembarrassable. Like you really can't make me feel awkward unless it's like a legitimate thing to be awkward about. Like you really like, if we're making fun of me or like making fun of my weight, like, get a new one, dude. Like, let's start again.
I call myself Fat Chops.
I mean, those are all the people. Those are
I
the
love
ones
when
that
people
are
come
profiles.
I love when people come at us and they're just like, look at these bad golfers talking about golf. I'm like, the name of the podcast is the Duffin Up podcast.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
it's literally
and Timmy's actually good. Like Timmy and Mike are actually good. Like I'm not. Like Brian's getting much better. Like Timmy's been good. Mike has been good. But like I'm sitting there like, dude, like I shot a 79 one day and then the next day I shot a 95.
Yeah.
Like that is us.
We already beat you to the punch. Like we already got you there. We're dumping up.
Dude. So on the comment thing, one, I just don't care, and
Yeah.
two, especially with TikTok now, like that's another thing too. People are like, oh, he's posting videos for TikTok. So like, first of all, listen, I've been putting dumb stuff on the internet forever. Like
Dude, I've been
I
putting
was on
dumb stuff on the internet since 2006 at least.
what I'm saying. I was on Facebook. I was on Facebook day one of Facebook. Like I'm not that old, but like that's how old I am. As soon as they were like, hey, colleges can have a Facebook, I had one.
That's
and
like,
then they opened. It's like
that's like
03,
04.
04. Yeah, 04, 05. So
Yeah.
like, I only say that to mean like I've always, my sense of humor, my creative outlet has always been in that space. TikTok was the first platform that I was able or comfortable with, like having fun with, like putting music to it. Like that was a cool thing for me, and like being able to edit, like, and have fun. Like it's really just a creative outlet. So like I have videos on the bottom of my TikTok profile from before any of them went viral, and it's like me doing trick shots around the house, me just doing stuff that I thought was funny to like show my wife, like, this is funny, and she's like, very good, honey. Like I just enjoy it. It's a creative outlet for me. So like when I do that, and if I get like silly comments on them, especially on TikTok, you can reply to comments with the video. So like it's just another thing to make a joke about, like as far as I'm concerned. Like if somebody says something, I don't care. It truly does not bother me. And two, I'm like, oh cool, here's a great, reason to make another video or whatever. And I see if I can have fun with it. Mulligan plus 3-putt does that on expert level.
It's insane.
That's all Madden. That's the way he like finds the comment. Let's see one of these, you dumb whatever, and he just posts a video like further, like an even worse shot sometimes, or hole, or and like I'm in tears when I watch those videos. Like they're so funny, and you could tell. And I know at this point probably a lot of people put comments on because they want him to reply to them, which is also genius on another level, because it just pushes engagement.
Gets that
like
transaction.
It just pushes it.
Yeah.
I've commented on a few of those that says like, hey, you're a shitty golfer or something, like, and then in parentheses be like, please use this as a video reply, like, if you could, that would be great.
Yeah, I love you, don't forget.
No, I don't mean this serious. You're really cool. Just make a video that has my name in the corner of it if you could.
Get me some views.
Yeah, but like I don't know, dude, it doesn't bother me, and I have fun with it. But it's also like, I don't know, we've been getting made fun of and making fun of my friends for 30 something years. This is nothing new.
Yeah, you got some thick skin. It's like this is the least of your worries.
Exactly.
I have been doing my best to retire the phrase "my guy" after you and Will went so hard on that one. And I was just sitting there because like I say "my guy" all the time, and I say it exactly how you think I say it. I'm like, all right, my guy, like, you know what I mean? So,
oh God, I must have missed all that, but I can only imagine in this day and age what occurred. And
so basically, like I was going. So it was about it was a video about, because actually like I've kind of transitioned to do a little bit, and I talked with our buddy Johnny V about it. He's like, dude, like you have good voice, like I love your news updates, just keep going with that, like that's sick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, honestly, it's been getting good views. Like
that's where I get all of my golf information from.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. I don't watch, because I am not, I like to play golf a lot more than I like to watch golf. So like I know a lot of people like love, like you guys, I know you like watch all the term, like what's going on, know all the players.
We're 100%
you're in it.
Junkies.
You're completely in it. And like, but like I enjoy watching golf. Don't get me wrong. If I can sit on the couch for 4 days and watch golf, I'm gonna do it. But it's not like I don't find myself drawn to it the same way. Like if I don't see a swing of a tournament, sometimes it's like, bummer, but like whatever, it doesn't really affect me. But yeah, that's where, so I see your updates on what's going on with the tour. And that is legitimately, now that I think about it, like I don't get it from Twitter. I'm not on Facebook. Like that's kind of where I get all my up and like, oh cool, I didn't know that was going on. Oh, those guys are going to live now.
I'll keep it going, man. But yeah, so like
keep it going, dude.
I started to do it, and one of the guys mentioned, because I think I mentioned about the majors, and it'd be stupid I personally think it'd be stupid if they banned the live guys. That's probably another podcast for another day, because like I just don't want to talk about live right now because I'm so,
I know.
Why? What's going on?
Yeah, who cares?
What is this LIV golf you're talking
the LIV tour?
No,
so
like I remember putting that out there, and someone was like, I remember saying, PGA of America is like not going to let the guys be PGA members anymore. And he's like, and someone commented like, oh, that like, there's no way they can do that. And I'm like, no, like in order to be on the Ryder Cup, because it was about Ryder Cup, I was like, in order to be on the Ryder Cup, you have to be a member, you have to be a PGA member. And then the guy like so confidently comes back, because I said my guy at the end of it. He comes back,
My guy.
he's like, my guy, the PGA Tour does not run the Ryder Cup. My guy. And I
In
just went
caps.
off on him, where I was like, I had it all. I went back to a document from 2015 that was a PDF on my phone. I freaking PDF that I took a screenshot of it. I read it off, and then at the end, instead of saying "so suck on that, my guy," I said "so suck on that, buddy." And then all my comments are like, he really just tried to out my guy, the my guy guy. Like, yep.
That was so good. That was so. I was so happy that Will jumped in on that too. It was just like we got one, and then he came in with the other one. Oh man, no, that
It was
was
like
good.
anyone who says that actually seriously, and I'm like, all right, I can't say it seriously anymore.
Damn it. Damn it.
Oh man, yeah, no, I mean, it's so interesting to see like the different, because I do think there's a really good side of the golf community on TikTok, and then like you said, like there's other side that like I'm not a huge fan of, but at the same time, like everyone that I've met and like interacted with personally has been nothing but good. So I feel like that is something that's great about the TikTok community, the golf influence. I hate that term because like none of us are actually influencers. You know what I mean? Like
anything,
no
like,
one's watching my shit and is being influenced.
We have the opposite effect.
You know what somebody said, and it was you know, you like reach a certain point and a couple brands reach out and you're like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like I'm getting some stuff, like, and I'm make a couple videos or whatever. I'm getting things that like I probably would have wanted to buy anyway, or on my Christmas list. Like I'm crossing stuff off my Christmas list that I'm getting for free. It's like, this is really cool. You're kind of like feeling yourself. And then one brand, I won't mention who it is, but they were talking, and he did not mean this in a mean way at all. Like it was just in conversation and email. He was like, so like, you know, what we like to do for micro influencers like you is blah, blah, blah. And like, so in the micro influencer category, and I'm like, I'm all right. You don't have to say it like that. Like,
yeah.
You know,
you don't have to add a tier to it. You call them all influencers to their face.
With micro influencers, I was like, that hurts, but I understand.
We're like we're like, Jesus, if you're a micro influencer, we're like the Vatican City of influencers. Gee, we are 1 square mile.
There we go.
Dude, that's another. Mulligan crushes it with that.
Oh yeah.
He's over 100,000, isn't he?
Nuts. It's nuts. He's over 100K. Stephen Faze is at like 56 right now, I think. Like he's awesome. I follow his. He probably won't follow back, but he is such a good guy, and like he'll like comment on my stuff too. He's huge Harold Varner the third guy too, which is awesome. So
really,
I talk about that with him. And then there's a bunch of guys that just like Sam. Like I remember Sam followed me back after I followed him when he had, I think, 1,500 followers, and in like 2 months he got the PXG spot. He got the PXG stuff, and then like now he's like one of the golf guys. He's like one of the guys on TikTok. We had Josh Mayer on last year, which was sick. We're gonna have him back on hopefully sooner or later. But it's just such an interesting community. But yeah, I do want to end because we do have. I know we're coming up, on an hour, but we do have a couple questions that we do like to ask. Usually we have Tim ask, but he is currently out there saving lives with the firemen. So we appreciate you, Tim. First question: any holes in one?
No.
It's okay. Any close calls?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I've had, and I've also been the guy. Like 3 feet. It wasn't. The pitch mark was closer. Pitch mark was closer, and for like the only time in my life, like tour spin, and it came back. But
so you could see it all the way. So you could see that, like the
whole way. And it was coming back, and I was like, "This is gonna be the greatest hole in one ever because it's gonna spin into the hole." And then it missed it, and it kept rolling. also been the guy that was like, guys, we better check the cup. And then I was 20 yards over the green.
Yeah.
I do love, like last year, just like from the rough, like on my approach shot, I did chip in, but it was a blind shot. And I love that my first reaction was I was looking beyond the green because I didn't see my ball in the green. So I was looking in the rough, and like
Polar
I
opposites.
was like, that's a lost ball. And then I was like,
Thought it
maybe
too
I'll
clean.
look. Yeah. It's just, I was like, just negative thoughts in my own head. I've just been abused out there before. So
Yeah. No, unfortunately not. It's going to happen when I'm golfing alone. I'm sure of it.
it's the biggest
Don't count. Don't care. Videotape it. Just get the eye range out and just videotape 24/7.
Right.
The body cam. Yeah.
Oh man. And then I think we'll do both of them because we have like two of our favorites. So really bad. I'm trying my best Tim impression right now, but I do apologize to all the listeners out there. Sorry, Mom.
I'm the closest thing we got to it.
I know, right? So you're stranded on a deserted island, and you have one club, unlimited balls, unlimited everything. And you can just all day, every day, hit a single. You get that one club. You can hit it. You can until you're rescued.
It has to be off the rack though.
Yeah. No, it does not have to be. Oh God, imagine.
He's gonna drown himself out there.
Guys,
I think
Let's not
Nick
get
would have been like
crazy.
no clubs.
Yeah. What kind of island is this?
I'll sit in silence.
You get
Man,
one club. What are you going with?
this really shouldn't be this difficult to answer. So my first thought is 6-iron. I can just hit some nice crispy 6-irons. You know,
Is that your
maybe
favorite
feel
club?
good. 6 or 7. I'm very basic with that. 7, I could just hit a 7-iron like
Seven makes sense. 6 is very unheard of.
Yeah, because it's like I want it to go a little bit farther, but I don't want to like approach long iron territory. But then the other side of my brain is like, well, it would be nice to just have a wedge, chip around, chip to some targets, play different kinds of shots, play flops, play bumps, do all kinds of stuff. That's a tough one. I'll probably 6 because I'm a big ape at heart, and I'll just want to smash golf balls until probably a 6-iron.
Well,
Ryan, what were you?
Well, I never answered that question, but as of this morning, I am not practicing at all because it works against me. So I'm gonna sit there in silence because I'm gonna be better coming off the island fresh, raw dogging it. So
yeah.
I got a nice putting green right on the island. And
Brendan's bringing a putter.
30-foot 1 putts when I come back. That's all that matters.
Putter. Oh, I like that.
You're the only person.
I don't think you do. I think you're just being nice.
You are one of one to ever say that. That's impressive. Everyone else absolutely ruthlessly destroys my take.
I mean, I get it.
I mean,
it's relaxing. You do less damage to your body hitting a bunch of putts than slamming 6-irons until you're rescued.
You only have so much energy out there on stranded island.
Mike and Tim.
I don't know. I like it, man.
Mike and Tim go driver because they're big behemoths and they just want to hit 24.
Nick's just being nice. He's gonna get off this call and tell his wife, "Can you believe this?"
They're gonna have to get the Tiger Woods infusion surgery when they get back.
That is just reckless. Hit drivers.
Man. But and our final question is: you have one hole in your backyard, and so this is you walk out. You have it doesn't matter the size of your backyard. It doesn't matter anything. You walk out, boom. This is your backyard. What hole do you have?
I'm ready for this question from some other podcasts, but I'm ready, but I'm not ready. So let me explain. Like I said before, I like to play golf, but I'm not like knowledgeable about like the golf things, people, places. So like I don't have a good mental Rolodex for like, oh man, this would be a dream.
You need Tim. Tim knows every single hole that has ever been played on any PGA. Like it is insane.
I can't remember.
He didn't remember he had work tonight.
Yeah,
I can remember all that. He forgot he had to work.
Dude, I can't remember holes from courses that I play locally like all the time. but it's not a good. But in any case, here I'll say this. Here's my criteria. I want it to be a par 5 because I want to be able to hit like anything. I don't want a par 3. I want to be able to hit drives. I want to be able to hit long iron. So par 5, I want it to be mountainous. So like I love ocean views, but that's a 1B to my 1A of mountains. So like Banff or like Colorado somewhere. So I want a par 5 in the mountains. Like that's what I want. I don't know what they are though. So if people know some good mountain courses that have like iconic par 5s, Banff Springs comes to mind, something like that. But like, that's what I want. But I don't know.
I was just about to say, what was the course to Brian? What was the course that they played? It was Brady and Rogers. What was that? What was that match?
Oh, yes.
Yes. They had that 700-yard par 5 that like ran
Give me
through
that.
the mountains.
Yeah.
That's what
I
I'm
got
saying.
you. I got you.
Give me the longest par 5 you could find so I could just hit any kind of shot in the world.
The tees were like literally, I think they were like, it was like a 75-foot drop from the tee. Not a dead drop, but like a gradual drop from the tee to the fairway.
Yeah, give me that every time.
Yeah. And then,
I'd
did you have 7 at Pebble Beach or did you have 18?
No, I was the road hole.
Oh, right. You're the road hole. Sorry. Yeah. St. Andrews, 17. That thing is beautiful.
I don't know. I'm my play is made for link style because I'm spraying all the time. So the less trees, the better for sure. I mean, I can hit the ball far, but it's not exactly precise. So I like hitting it and chasing it and hitting it and chasing it. I hate wind though. I really do.
That's all that link style is. Like
I know that's the problem. I like the idea of links. Just we got to work on the wind.
I see the 2017 Aaron Hills shirt, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, everyone hates that U.S. Open because there was no wind, and the course was designed to play like the U.S. Open nerds like me. I'm like, no one should ever shoot 18 under at a U.S. Open, and it's because there was no wind.
Yeah,
and Aaron Hills is the most beautiful course I've ever seen with no wind.
30 minutes away, and I was very happy there was no wind that day. So I was there, and it was really nice outside. Everything was
I don't
totally
blame
fine.
you, dude. I don't blame you at all. I have.
I will. Speaking of,
go for it.
I would say, speaking of link style golf, I know we're up on time, but I'll leave you with this story because it just happened. That reminded me. So I went and played 36 holes at Lawsonia up in like Green Lake, Wisconsin. So they have 2 really good courses. The links course for them is like ranked 23rd in North America, like public courses or whatever. It's awesome. So we played it, but it was true link style. And this was one of the first times that I played true link style course where everything played out. Like it was kind of windy. And the other thing about link style that I don't know that people can appreciate unless you play an actual link style course is what's really difficult about link style courses is, yes, there's like no trees, none of that, but your depth perception is incredibly difficult to nail down. So like you'll see a flag, you'll pin it. Okay, that's this number, but you can't really feel the wind that's up here. Sometimes you're below the wind, sometimes you're in the wind, but there's no wind below. I can't tell you how many balls I struck well. And as soon as I hit it, I was like club twirl in the hole, and it's like 30 yards short or 20 yards long. And you're like, I don't understand what's happening here. And the kicker to this story is I have a new rangefinder. It's a shot scope rangefinder. It has slope on it. I've never had a rangefinder with slope ever. And I was excited to go use it. I'm a dad, I don't get to golf a whole bunch. So like 36 holes, I'm going to use this thing. I used it that entire links round, and I was over greens, real short, real long. And I'm looking at like, I've hit the ball well. I'm looking at my friend who I golf all the time. He's like, I don't know what is happening. And I'm like, wow, this doesn't make any sense. So we're done with the first 18 holes. I played horribly. And, did I just squeak in under 90? I think I just snuck out an 89 or something. And I was like, I don't know what was going on. And I was just like messing with the rangefinder, not blaming it. I was like, there's different settings. I never had settings on a rangefinder before. I'm like, what is this? I think this is
one button usually.
Yeah. I'm like, click, and there's like a few modes in here, and I'm messing around with it. And all of a sudden I switched it, and I saw the extra like reading down below the regular number. I had the slope turned off that entire time, the entire round. I thought it was on. So I was tagging, I was like 145. And I'm even telling my friends, I'm like, it's playing 145. It's probably playing 160 or 120 because we're up and down hills, links, and it's all crazy.
Your boy's like, this is so sick. We got so much good intel right now. And then,
Dude,
you're just boning them.
That
I played an entire round of golf thinking I was 10 to 30 yards closer or shorter and being like unbelievably confident about it. I was like, no, guys, it's right here. It's 140, it's playing 145 downhill or whatever, man.
Similar to that, but not as big of an issue, is my rangefinder turned into meters at one point, and I was
That's
playing
insane.
it
And you don't know how to turn it back. You don't
it's
know
like
how to turn
just
it back.
It's not much of a difference, but it's like a little bit of a difference where you're
It's
like,
a difference. It's a difference. And
Yeah.
you're just like, how do I turn this back? How do I do this? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And you're freaking out.
Exactly.
I remember I played in Ireland one round, and the caddies were giving me the meters and instead of yards, and so they like said like 150, and I was like, oh, like I'll take my pitching wedge or my 9, and they were like, oh, like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, like I'm positive, but like it was just that we weren't aligned on that, which is kind of hysterical. But
yeah. I don't know, my guy.
Yeah, I was like, you know, the
I
course
don't know.
better. I'm gonna go with what you do, and I hit it over the green.
guy.
Like I knew what.
Guy, it's yards, not meters. My guy.
Ireland will be lad, my lad,
my guy, my lad,
my laddie.
It's your man. It's your man over there. It's your man. That's my Irish buddy always says that. Your man is going nuts right now. Oh, it's unreal. Well, Nick, Mr. Fat Chops, we very much appreciate you coming on this evening. Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to say before you go?
Not really. I don't know. Check out my page. I try to make some people laugh. I try to talk about golf, and sometimes people leave comments that we make fun of them for. So join in on that with me.
Yeah,
absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, Nick. We appreciate it, man.
Is it exactly
lot, guys.
at Fat Chops? Is that what it is? Just getting everybody to listen.
At Fat Chops 51, right?
51, yeah. There is a Fat Chops. It's always been 51. That was like AOL Instant Messenger name. That was Fat Chops is my nickname since I was in like 4th grade. And the 51 actually comes from Chicago Bears legend Dick Butkus. So somewhere when I was a kid, I put the 51 at the end of it, and it just stuck.
There we go.
That's awesome, man. Well, thank you so much, Nick. We appreciate you.